This is how to improve as a trader at every single skill level, the full version, the YouTube edition. I'm going to do this for every TikTok. Let's get into it. 97% of you watching this video are going to be complete beginners. You either have never learned anything about trading, or even worse, you have tried and you've been misled. This is a classic part of the process. Probably spent my first year or two shuffling through the muck and just all the BS that's in this space. So if you're there, don't worry about it. But most of you are probably either there or entirely fresh and you have no idea where to start. So I'm going to go through which level you're at, and then I'll talk about what you should do based on that level. So level 2, very small percentage of you are probably here. You might think you're here, but I would say otherwise, right? So this is where you have an understanding of what the real concepts that move the market are. This is gaps, this is sequential SMT, this is time, this is precision candles. But even though you know everything, you're unable to make money with it. And a big part of that is probably because of your psychology, right? This is another really huge step. This is actually the most time-consuming level. A lot of people think it's level 1. Like if I could just find the right concepts, then I'd be good, then I'd be making money. That's not at all the case. Finding the right concepts, as hard as it is, right? Only 3% of you are ever going to do that in your lifetime. As hard as that is, level 2 is the most time-consuming. Because knowing the concepts is not enough. It's more about the operator of the concepts than the concepts themselves, right? No mentor can take you all the way to profitability. You have to do it yourself. They can only teach you the concepts, right? Then finally, if you make it through there, which again, a very, very small percentage of you will do. These percentages are not exaggerations. This is my genuine belief. This is what I see, right? If you make it through to level 3, you're the consistent professional. At this point, your psychology is ironclad, so you're not blowing up accounts. And this is a really underrated skill, the ability to handle drawdown. That is like the hallmark of a fantastic psychology. You're able to take the losses that will inevitably come regardless of how good you get, and you're able to still make those consistent profits. So now let's get into what you should do for every level, how you should spend your time, right? Now, level 1, the complete beginner. This is where you want to be learning about gaps and SMT, right? Learning about these concepts that I talk about people know when they're at level 2. Gaps and SMT from ICT. You can start with the 2022 mentorship. That's one of the places I started when I started out. It's all free. I'm only going to recommend free stuff because I believe you can learn all this for free. Then after you understand just what they are, SMT and gaps, then move on, figure out what sequential SMT is and figure out what precision candles are. Day, at Trader Day on Twitter, is the one who came up with these concepts, came up with these ideas. Again, these are very foundational to how price moves, so you need to know what they are, right? So learn, and keynote here, learn from the source whenever you can, right? Learn from ICT himself, learn from Day himself. There are a lot of spin-off videos on these that just aren't accurate. Obviously, I make videos on them as well, but I can verify that they're accurate because I learned under Day in his first ever mentorship, right? But there are a lot of people that kind of grift and try to do their own thing, which ends up compromising the integrity of what these concepts actually are, right? So try to learn from the source. Once you understand what those things are, that's all you need to do. Just understand what they are. You don't need these so-called models or setups. Just understand what they are. The market is too complex for a cookie cutter system to work. The only way for this to work for you is for you to understand the concepts and then figure out your own dynamic way to use them that works for you. And that's what you do in level 2. You focus on trial and error. Because at this point, you know what works, but you don't know where and when it works, right? And this, again, is the most time-consuming step. This is where you have to figure out all the nuances of the market. There's a near infinite amount of nuance. And you just have to understand enough to give you an edge, right? And journaling will help you do this. Journal every single trade. And don't do the journals people talk about where they're like journaling how much money they make or even their win rate or like the price that they got in at, the price their stop loss was at. None of that really matters. You need to be focused on the logic of why something worked and why it didn't work. That's what I mean by details are irrelevant. You need to focus on the logic, okay? And if you spend enough time there, you'll make it to level 3. Very few of you will make it to level 3, but some of you will. And at this point, this is where you start to treat it like a business. You can become very emotionally detached because you have an extreme confidence in your abilities. And this is where wins and losses turn into like revenues and expenses. And you basically just in your notes, in your journaling, you try to do more of what makes you money and eliminate the things that lose you money. Just expenses and revenues like any other business. And once you have this cash flowing business, this is when you want to be investing in the business. Buy the best prop firm accounts, right? There's some niche firms that have way better rules than these mainstream ones, but they cost a lot more, right? Or you can invest your money in a live account if you have enough, right? And the best journal. And like there are all sorts of things. Like there's the best journal. Maybe you buy like the best like light system to wake you up in your house with like that slow light that comes in like mimics sunlight or whatever. Maybe you buy like the better alarm clock. Maybe you buy a better computer, right? This is where you invest because now you have the skill, and now this is like investing in a business that is cash flowing. But a lot of people do it in reverse, where they like to buy the fancy stuff like the best prop firms and the best journal before they're actually making money, which to me doesn't make sense. Like investing in a business that is losing money, right? So this is what to do at every level. Hope this was helpful, and have a nice upcoming trading week, my friends. Peace.